Hello, fellow citizens, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Elfie, just a girly pop trying to figure out this Star Citizen thing. And today, I'm going to be exploring Lorville on the planet Hurston. I started off my day by picking out the perfect outfit. I figured my new yellow armor would go great with the theme of the planet. But I realized something was missing. We can't forget that yellow backpack too. I was ready to hop in my Drake Cutter, of course, and I had to take a final look at the outfit of the day. I was pretty proud of this one. Now here's where I want to give a shout out to all of the very helpful people in my comments on my last video, because this process was so much quicker. I used all of the hotkeys and I was ready to go in a jiff.
Hello and welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
Takeoff was beautiful on a clear night in New Babbage, but there were a few people hovering when I was trying to get out of atmosphere. And we all saw what happened last time I went to an OM point, but I decided to take the risk this time just to get away from them.
Quantum drive is now off.
Safe to say, it was fine this time. And with that, we were off to Hurston.
Quantum drive is now on.
My first impression of the planet was that it was very, very cloudy, but I remembered to scan, so I knew that there was a city there, and once I broke through the clouds, it was beautiful. It seemed like a very vibrant and colorful city. And I wanted to leave this next part in because I was really proud of myself. I found the spaceport within a couple of seconds, and the landing was about as smooth as it gets for me, especially in a big storm in a place I've never been. Except that is a lie. I have been here once before a very long time ago, and I remember thinking it was the armpit of society. But from what I hear about Pyro, this might actually be a little bit nicer. My first impression of the spaceport is that the people of this planet really like yellow. There was a lot of trash everywhere, but it was pretty okay in this spaceport. The other thing I heavily noticed is that there are a ton of people here. I ran into so many other players. I saw the ship to my left, and it looked pretty nice. I totally missed the showroom the first time in here, but we'll get back to that later. The other thing that I noticed immediately and kind of throughout my visit here was that there could have been a lot of nice views of the city, but they were always obstructed by reflections in the windows or just not enough window space at all to look out. There really wasn't anywhere I could go to get a good view of the city, but I also couldn't find any food. Where's the food? There's always at least one convenience store or kiosk, so that was really weird to me. I don't know, maybe I missed it. But I found this sign, and I remembered the last time that I was here, I got incredibly lost because I don't know how to use the public transportation system. So this time, I wanted to be very careful. I decided that I was going to take the Commerce line first and go to Levston Station. Then I would deal with Central Station and figure out what's all around there. The other thing I noticed was that I didn't know if it was me and I had bad luck, but every single time I went to go take the train, there was always an incredibly long wait. This one wasn't too bad at 30 seconds, but there were some of them that were a full minute and 50 seconds. When I was actually able to get on the train, I was pretty disappointed. There was no front or rear facing views, and it kind of just felt like you were sitting in a box. Don't get me wrong, the views of the city are pretty, but you just couldn't see them. This is what I meant earlier when I said the windows were obstructed or you just couldn't have enough window space to actually see anything. I'll spare you the entire duration of the ride, but once I got dumped off here, it was a little weird. There were gold statues of this guy pretty much everywhere. I walked through the world's longest hallway to get to the Hurston Memorial Hall, and there was just another tall gold statue. This guy also kept staring at me, and he pretty much followed me around the whole place. It was cool to read about the Hurston family's legacy the first time, but it just kept saying this over and over and over again. The gun walls and gun parts were pretty cool to look at, though. Lorville did have a very big and beautiful finance division, but every time I walk into one of these, I wonder if there's more to it or if they're planning on building more off of it. Stocks and trading could be a really cool aspect of the game, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think it's a large part of gameplay. To me, it seems like a place you sell all of your stuff that you find out in the universe, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is more to it than the pretty screens. But, anyways, I got back on the train, and this is about as good of a view as I got on the way to Leveston Station. Another thing I noticed is that there was a lack of maps. I really didn't know what was here, so I just kind of went exploring off on my own. I found a little dive bar in a basement, but there was no food for sale from what it looked like, so I'm still kind of curious where you're supposed to get food and beverages. I do, however, like the vibe and how vibrant and busy it is in here. It actually does make you feel like you're in a city. There was a Whammers upstairs, or at least a place labeled Whammers. I bought some of these noodles because I wasn't sure about the next time I would find food, but I'm pretty sure Whammers usually sells burgers. The other person at the counter here was probably the fourth or fifth person I've seen here, and that's more people that I've seen on all of the other planets combined when I've gone on these exploration trips. I also bought some water because you can't be dehydrated while shopping. We finally found a shop, and you all know what time it is. I bought this beefy suit because I haven't owned anything like that, and I also got the matching helmet. I tried on this vest, but I didn't really know what it was for, so I passed on it. These jackets were really cute, but I couldn't figure out if it was the same one that I bought on New Babbage. Out of all the things I don't love on the hanger, I really like these shirts on the female character and think that they're very flattering. I didn't particularly love any of the pants here, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to wear any of the outfits, unfortunately, for the rest of my exploration. And if you live on Hurston, good news for you, they have furniture at Tammy and Sons. At the kiosk, I bought the dark green core armor set. I bought multiple of these beanies because I haven't seen hats like this on any other planet. I got the black mountaintop jacket because I knew that it was definitely different than the purple one I bought on New Babbage, even if it was the same style. I also got this white Arctic jacket. Because I loved these shirts so much on the female character, I ended up getting a couple of different colors. I also got the Tough Life boots in purple and black. These are some of the most flattering boots in the game as well. I wanted to show off my civilian outfits, but I didn't buy pants, and I didn't shave my legs this morning, so we ended up with the beefy suit, but I was pretty upset because I could not get the helmet on. No matter what I tried, it just would not go onto my body. I gave up and just left my yellow helmet on. What a look. I walked around through this industrial area, which was pretty cool, but I didn't really find anything else, and I thought that was pretty much it. I was gonna head back to the station, but then I came out on the other side and I actually ended up finding a map. This is where I ended up super confused as well, because last time I was here, I got so lost and couldn't figure it out, but the Leaveston station maybe connects to the Metro Center, and that's where I currently was. I'm still not entirely sure. However, I realized that I had missed Reclamation and Disposal, so I decided to head over there to check it out. Similar to Arcorp, I found some really creepy person staring at me, except instead of the lady where she told me she didn't have time for my bullshit, he just kind of ignored me. I also didn't really find a kiosk or anything in here, so I don't actually know what you're supposed to do here. I stared at this map for a long time because I had a long wait for the train, and I knew that I wasn't crazy. It definitely did not say that Leaveston Station and Metro Center connected. However, I definitely was in Metro Center according to the sign. This is where I started to feel a little bit duped. I went to gate 3, and all it was a bunch of garages and a view of the outside. On the very long wait and train ride, I ended up at gate 2 and realized that you can call in ground vehicles. Now, I thought I was going crazy here, but the screens were glitched out behind the actual screen.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
I called in my little gray cat Rock and decided to go for a little drive. Except the weather wasn't great. I only crashed into a couple of random rocks. I tried to get some sick pics of myself in the rain with the city. And then I started to lose control a little bit, and it was a bit slippery. I headed back to the gate because I didn't want to roll over and do the walk of shame. I kept trying to hail the gate, but it wasn't actually letting me, so I parked it anyway. They threatened to impound me, but it said that I was leaving the restricted area, and it did let me store it on the janky screen. I didn't bother going to the other gates because I figured that it wasn't really worth it or that it would be a lot of the same thing, but let me know in the comments if I should come back and if I missed anything important with the gates. I went back to the space station because I couldn't get over the feeling that I missed something. There was really no food in the station, but when I turned this corner, I realized that I did actually miss a really big thing here. They have a huge showroom, and in my opinion, these ships were way nicer than the ones in the showroom on Orison. I checked out the M50, which was displayed out front, and I think that this is a really cool looking ship. I hopped in it, and for a minute, I felt like maybe I could be like a little dogfighter or a racer. But then I remembered I was not capable of actually landing on a space station in a very basic ship. So I saw the Hammerhead for the first time, and I was too stunned to speak at the price. It was giving massive Idris vibes, but I could not find my ass from my elbow in this place. I couldn't find the elevator where I came in, and I took the L on this one when I couldn't figure out how to call it up. I walked around and saw a couple of the other ships, but something just kept bringing me back to this one, and I saw that it was only 1.4 million. I told myself I wasn't gonna do it. There's no way I can race if I can't even fly. And that's how I became an owner of an M50. It's my very first ship that I've actually bought in-game with in-game credits. And what better way to celebrate than to fly over the city? And this is the view that I was looking for the entire time I was down there. I flew to a random area and just wanted to go sightseeing for a bit. And at one point, I thought I was Maverick, but the G's were a little too much for me. I flew back to the city and decided to grab a hangar for the night. I was extra careful to make sure that I didn't come in flying like last time. And again, it's a really pretty city with good views. I just don't understand why they don't give you the views down there. I was on my way into my hangar when I noticed there was someone down there just hovering next to it. Could it be the guy who makes videos judging people based on their landings? It's a good thing I lost control of the cameras and didn't panic or anything. He's definitely sitting there judging me, though. Overall, do I love Lorville? No, not at all. They have no food, the views are really crappy down below, and there's a couple of good stores, but really not much here. I really was kind of curious why there were so many people here. And the lack of maps also got to me. Hurston itself is really pretty, and there's a lot of pretty things out in nature, but the city, maybe not for me. Let me know what I missed down in the comments down below, because I'm pretty sure I definitely missed something here. Also, let me know if there's anywhere that you want me to visit for my next video. If you like Star Citizen content for beginners, be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel. I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, Elfie out.